may have just fallen in love with the leg press. And I'm kind of, I wouldn't say excited, but I'm kind of happy about it because I never had a reason to like the leg press before, use the leg press before. It didn't have a purpose to me, simply put. However, on this quest to improve my leg drive in the deadlift, I believe it has a vital place because unlike a squat, I feel like the position in which a leg press machine puts you in is somewhat similar to the position you find yourself when setting up for a deadlift. And it recreates that off the floor movement, but isolates the legs. Doesn't require much from the core and absolutely nothing from the lower back or the back as a whole. It just isolates the legs in that precise movement, which is nice. And I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do on it, because today I was quite surprised with how once I found my setup or range of motion, I started to get really comfortable. And I think in the end, I went up to 180 kilos and it didn't feel that difficult. I wasted a lot of time and a lot of energy prior to that working up from 40 kilos, I believe it was. But that's simply because I ain't never really leg pressed before. Never ever really given much time to the leg press machine before. So today was very much a finding my feet day. However, it felt good. I enjoyed the range of motion. I enjoyed the stretches that I experienced. I enjoyed the areas in which I felt tension. Interestingly, I felt my adductors fire quite a lot, which was nice. Even at some points, just to get out of the hole when I went as far in my range of motion as I would allow myself to go in an attempt to keep my pelvis neutral the entire time. I really enjoyed how my hamstrings and my glutes had to engage out the hole and then allow my quads to take over closer to the top. And I think using the band is really valuable as well, because interestingly, as I'm working on my deadlift technique and doing a lot more reps than I have been doing in recent time, my aim is simply making sure I get 25 reps in above 70% of my 1 rep max. So 25 reps above 140, and I break that up however I feel like breaking that up on the day. As I start to fatigue, that lockout at the top becomes difficult when I'm doing leg drive focused reps. Because in order to get the 200 pull, every time I look back on it, I realized that like it was closer to a stiff leg than it was a deadlift. I mean, which isn't the worst thing in the world. It's kind of cool to have a 200 stiff leg, but it nicely exposes a weakness for me, and that's my leg drive and the engagement of my legs. So yeah, that's what I was saying. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Doing these higher reps, as you fatigue, that lockout becomes real difficult. As time goes on, as each rep passes by, that lockout gets a little bit more and more shaky at the top. So having the band on the leg press, as nervy as it is, 'cause that shit doesn't fill me with confidence. If that shit snaps, that's taking an eye out. I feel like it has a very valuable place. It's needed for what I'm attempting to use the leg press for, which is cool. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying experimenting with shit that I've never really experimented with before consistently in the past, which is cool. And going back to something that I got from Move Your DNA, I wouldn't be surprised if I notice a kink or two get ironed out as I do this, and experiment more, because I'm just using my body in a way that it's not used to, and therefore closing the weakness gap between little bits and pieces that don't get used when training very specifically and doing a very limited number of exercises and movements, which is fun. I'm almost certain that I'll have a lot more footage than the amount of time I spent recording this audio today, and it's actually work that I personally want to save, so the footage is going to continue probably quite far past the audio. So again, if you've made it this far, thank you very much. If you wish to continue watching, shout out you. Thank you. And I shall see you tomorrow.